We're going to be talking about Cormac McCarthy in Knoxville and the novel Suttree specifically. And he wasn't born here. He was born in Rhode Island, but when he was about 4 years old, and his father, who was an attorney, got a job with the TVA. And so we'll probably pass by one of the buildings where he probably works because the original TVA buildings are still standing on Union Avenue. So he brought his family with him. They were a large capital print. And of course, Cormac was not his real name. Everybody knows that now. It's named Charles after his father. But there were varying family stories about the nickname Cormac. Some of them I was told by his younger brother, I think, and his Irish aunts gave him that nickname. There are the places that are still standing, and we're going to go to scenes from the novel, just because it's kind of fun to realize how little he made up when he started doing this. In fact, where we're standing was right next door to Comer's drugstore, and Comer's is featured frequently as a location in the book. They come there and buy things. There's a pool hall there, so they hang out at the pool hall. And it was this building here. It was built in 2006, but there was a building right next to this that was part of this property that was originally Comer's. Let's walk on down K Street here. His real name is Tenacity. The artist says that because his gaze is fixed on his goal, and he's continuing to row even though he's mostly underwater. Most people around Knoxville call him the rowing man, and the funny nickname, though, is such. So they believe, at least the White Mule Club that used to put that on, they believe that this was a representation of Cordelia Suttree. And I like to, Cormac will talk about it. So whenever he was asked, even as a very poor, struggling writer, he would say it's all on the page and refused to go give a lecture about his writing, anything like that. So, and as Annie would say, mainly these beings for Wonder Whiskey. Because they offer him like fabulous amounts of money and he turned them down. The goatman strode in his heavy shoes and raised his nose to test the air. The cart rumbled and clanked on its iron wheels and then entered the town. The goats stand over the post office lawn on Main Street. Here we are today. And began to graze, the goatman watching them paternally, hiking along at the head of his curious circus. An officer of the law spoke to him. Get them damn goats off the grass. The goatman located the voice of Narrow Eye. Let's go, old-timer. Them's mulish goats at times, said the goatman. Off, said the lawman, pointing. You, Susie, get off that grass now. It ain't for you. Them goats need to be on a lead or something you want to bring through here. Ain't do nothing with them. But local went straight down to the river. The original name of the street was Prince Street, and they changed it to Market Street in 1914, because if you look this way, through the archway of the Federal Building, there it ends at Market Square. So it used to go straight through where this building was located. This is the Whittle Building, or what we old-timers still call it that. It was built in the early 1990s by the Whittle Communications Corporation, and they closed that part of the street because they built that building. So, but it used to, in the time of Suttree, it would have been part of the street going all the way down here. As you look across here, you see the Healy Bridge. And when I first moved to Knoxville in 1980, you could still see on the far side there the painted place to Jesus Saves. Go into this dead city, and they pass over a bridge, and they look there and see all these wrecked boats and houseboats at the bottom of the bridge. He's describing this bridge right here. Now, a river is a character. If those days it was a lot grosser and more polluted than it is now. It's kind of been cleaned up a little bit since that time. But some of the best scenes in the novel are on the river. One of the most peaceful sections of the novel is when he goes upriver. It becomes part of the mussel harvesters. So there's a freshwater mussels are harvested off the river at river of the town. by turning in bats. So it involves materials, however, that he has a little trouble getting. So there's a pharmacy right here. It was a gray-haired and avuncular apothecary, who leaned not unkindly down from his high pulpit. Enormous fans stirred overhead, shifting the reek of nostrums and purgatives. Beyond the counter ranged carboys and gallipots and stained glass jars of chemic and cotton-mouthed bottles, cold and replete with their party-colored pills. "I'll help you," said the scientist, his hands holding each other. "I need me some strychnine," said the unique Kamot. "Strychnine, you know what it is, don't you?" "Yes," said the chemist. "I need me about a good cupful, I reckon." "Are you going to drink it here or take it with you?" "Shit, I ain't gonna drink it. It's poisoner in hell." But they also come to the market out that he described it. The Suttree comes here often because he comes selling his fish. So he would catch fish down on the river and he'll bring them up to the market to try to sell them. And so he stopped to listen to the preaching to the street preachers because he considers them sort of like minor prophet. This particular incident, apparently, I bet, was based on a real person because it's very, very detailed. One day coming up market, he caught sight of a crowd amongst which the maddest man of God yet had appeared electrically out of a carbonic log. He was some 2/3 of a man tall, and heavily set and red all over. He had red curly hair on the back of his balding and boiled-looking head, and his skin was pale red, spotted with huge blood-colored pimples. And he was delivering the word in such a fashion that even the oldest codgers on the street, long jaded to the crop with crazed gossipularities, seriously credited. The old man had crawled into the flooded gutter among the sewage and was demanding baptism. But the preacher had risen with his red hand and joined in a demented mudra above his glowing skull and began a dance of exorcism. His eyes had swiveled back in his head and his lips worked feverishly. He went faster. The old man had arisen dripping and tried to emulate his new and worthiest prophet, but he tilted and fell, and the preacher had begun to rotate with such speed the crowd dropped back, and some just stayed their hands from clapping. To State Street through the bus terminal, and then he would go down the hill to Commerce to get to the Central where the old city is today. Like I said, he was not an enthusiastic student. He thought school was a total waste of time. He went to UT for a couple of times in the early 50s. He left to go to Thady for a while. Came back in 1957. He was attending again, but he eventually never got a degree there. He eventually just left and started concentrating on his writing. And then he moved to Chicago first, kind of moved around. He ended up coming back to Knoxville. The place that he lived was off Alcoa Highway. And he said he would introduce her to these people, and she said they were always really polite, kind. She had expressed some surprise, at how courtly their manners were. And he said, well, these people will do anything. If they like you, fine. If they don't, well, tell. So that's one of my favorite books of all time, because it basically tells me his philosophy of people. Everybody has that dark and light inside of them, and it depends on which side of them you're on. That's what you see.